Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, Psychology and Emotions Monday. Uh, gonna be a kick-ass week, right? Because we're gonna start it off on the right foot. I want to tell you something. I have been kind of struggling with being able to get up at the time that I want to get up, and I don't know why, because since I was in my early 20s, I have not used an alarm clock. I'm a light sleeper to start with, but I'm also quite a morning person, and so when I was in my early 20s and I had to get up early for work, I would set my alarm clock and then, just go to sleep, and the alarm would go off in the morning, just buzzing away or whatever, and I'd be like, God damn it. And so I hated being woke up that way. So I started to do something kind of weird for someone who's in their mid 20s. I started waking up before the alarm clock went off so that I could shut it off, so that I wouldn't wake up that way to that stupid alarm clock. And I did that for about a year, and then I was like, man, why do I even set the alarm? And so I stopped setting the alarm and I just got up. So I've been that way my whole life, and I have done jobs where, where I worked in the oil and gas industry, where we worked very long days, getting up at 4:30 in the morning, no alarm clock. I just get up. And working night shift and getting up at 4:30 in the afternoon instead of 4:30 in the morning. I just get up. I don't know, it's just a skill that I developed. But anyways, recently I have been, but the thing is, when I have to go to work or like work for someone else, it seems like it's a big deal to get up on time. And when I'm working for myself, it doesn't seem like it's as big of a deal for whatever reason. I don't know why. It should be more of a big deal. But anyways, so I have been struggling a little bit with getting up at 5:30 a.m., which is my goal. So I turned the well, I have it in my calendar already. If you guys know about my morning routine, I already have it in my calendar. So all I had to do was turn the notification on so that it vibrates the phone. And literally, I keep the phone on my nightstand, and I get that little bzz, bzz, and that's enough to wake me up. That's it. That's all I need. So that's what I'm doing now, instead of trying to rely on my own circadian rhythm or my own internal alarm clock. Um, yeah, so since it's Psychology and Emotions Monday, I want to talk about fear a little bit. Um, uh, this is something that I've been sort of thinking about for the last week or so. You know, we all want to move forward in our lives, we all want to have progress, and there's there's something there's a force that's stopping us. And I think we give it so many names, like it's stress, or it's just I don't have time, or I don't have resources, or I don't think that I have something to offer, or I don't think I can, or there's so many reasons. There's always these reasons, and we give it so many names. And isn't it really all just fear? Like, whatever's stopping you right now, what's the weirdest thing that's stopping you right now? And tell me, if you think about it for long enough, that you can't trace it back to its root in fear. Some kind of fear, some kind of anxiety. So I wanted to talk about fear a little bit today. Uh, um, I think I said a couple weeks ago I wanted to talk about anxiety, and I don't. I was talking more about kind of clinical anxiety, and I'm not a professional, and I don't even know anyone who is that I could bring on here at the moment. Um, but I would like to hit that at some point. But today I just want to talk about like general fear in general. Because I have a couple of hacks, and I sort of like after I developed them on my own, I sort of like did some Google searches and stuff, and I can't really find where someone has just like come up with a list of fear. There is. I found a list of fear hacks, but mine aren't on it. So weird, right? So I just thought I'd share them with you because I'm not really sure if you can find them anywhere else. Um, so I'll just share them real quick. I just got a few. So the first one is action. And I know that fear is literally the thing that's stopping you from taking action. But what I mean is, so for me, it was the overwhelm, right? Like just thinking about all the things that I have to do, and it's just turns into this giant mountain that I have to move. And it's too big, and it's so big, and I'm so small, and that is the kind of thinking that got me stuck in the first place. But it's fear, right? And so, but the way that I got out of it was actually through action, but not by moving the entire mountain. In fact, I still haven't moved the entire mountain, but I'm moving it some at a time now. But what I had to do was I had to find the smallest thing. And that, when I changed my focus from looking at the whole mountain to trying to find the smallest thing, it completely shifted. Like first it was tiny little me next to this giant mountain, but then I changed the focus so that it was me looking for the tiniest thing, and then I became the giant. And that was kind of the mental shift that sort of took place, and I was able to take action through that. I took that one small step, and then that made me feel better about myself, and it gave me just that tiny bit of momentum because I actually was making progress. And then the next day I did something else, and so on. So action. And then the other one is habits. So there's things that we're afraid of doing. Like just in my case, it was going on video, but I formed a habit eventually of going on live video, and I'm like 2 months into it now, and I just have like it's booked. You know what I mean? Like it's just part of my day. Now I have like go on live video. It's part of my day, and when you could call it immersion if you want to. That works too, but habit, it's the habit of doing it every day. And the immersion part is doing a lot of it. So I guess both of those, you could almost look at that as two separate hacks, but I sort of combined it into one. I don't know. I just go on live video every day. I just do. I do it for the immersion, and I do it for the habit. And I kind of have set my life and this whole system up in my life where like I literally have to stop doing what I'm doing in order to stop going on live video every day. Like if I don't, I'm going to be on live video every day for the rest of my life. So habits and immersion. The third one, and you might be able to find this one in a Google search, maybe if you use the right words to search it. I don't know. I searched a little bit, but I can't really find it. But I call it the Scooby-Doo method. And so I'll tell you a little story. So even though I was going on live video every day, I still was afraid at first, especially like the first week. It got a little bit easier, but I mean, man, you still, anytime you're going to change a habit, create a habit, or drop an old habit, it takes an enormous amount of conscious energy in the beginning. And then, but the other thing that it takes, sometimes we call that conscious energy, we call that willpower, or we call it discipline, those kind of things, right? I don't like discipline and I don't like willpower, but what I like is emotional leverage. So that's the other part that you need to ingrain that habit. And so you can use your conscious energy to just do it because you're supposed to do it, or or you can use emotional leverage to know why you're doing it, and that makes you do it. So those are the two parts of just just doing that habit. But you have to do it. If you do it for long enough, it becomes wired into your subconscious, and it takes less energy and less emotional leverage to make it happen. But either way, it takes one or both of those two things. So I had a significant amount of emotional leverage on myself that was making me go on live video every day, but I was also using discipline uh, to a certain extent. I just knew that it was the right thing to do, and that's why I was doing it. So I wasn't completely connected to my why every day. But one day, even after a week, I still had these fears of going on live video. So I'd like sit in front of the camera and look at the blue button and not push it. I would be like rehearsing, pre-rehearsing what I was going to say instead of just getting on there and doing it like I do now. And so rehearsing for something that you're afraid of doing isn't always the best thing. So, and it goes back to hack number one, which is action, but I just wasn't there. I was afraid. And so I was looking at the blue button and looking at the blue button and rehearsing and not doing it and not doing it. And one day I said to myself, it's just ridiculous how afraid you are to go on live video. You're scared. You're just like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy when they see like the Phantom or whatever. And I don't know what made me do it, but right out loud, I just went, "Ruh-roh!" just right in that moment. And I just laughed my ass off because it was so funny. I was so scared, and it was idiotic that I was scared. And then I was thinking about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, and they're so hilarious, you know. And I just said, "Ruh-roh!" and I was just dying laughing, and I just pushed the blue button, and I went on and I did the video, and it was a great video that day. So I call that the Scooby-Doo method. And so I wrote a post about it, and but I got a little deeper into it, and so the Scooby-Doo method is a pattern interrupter. So now when I feel like I'm nervous about going on doing anything, it works for me on the cold showers. I'm like, I don't want to turn the water to cold right now, and then I just go ruh-roh, and I turn it, and I do it anytime I'm like nervous about whatever it might be. And I just do that, and I just go ruh-roh, and I do it. You know, it's a pattern interrupter. You have that fear pattern running, and something's got to stop it. So that just works for me. It just does. But anyways, I sort of thought about it a little bit more, and I kind of attached a little bit more meaning to that. So it's like a button that you push. You know what I mean? Some buttons you push and they have one process that they run, and other buttons, when you push it, it really starts something big happening. It's more than one process, or it's a sequential series of processes, or a number of processes simultaneously, whatever it is. But the beauty part about your mind is you get to program it however you want it. So I was thinking about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, and I thought about how the plot of the story is always Scooby-Doo and Shaggy that see the Phantom or the ghost first. And so they're the ones that get frightened, of course, and then everybody else is like, well, you're ridiculous. But that's when peak of the forget what you call it, at the climax, this always happens almost in all the Scooby-Doo shows. They get they come face to face with the phantom or the ghost or whatever. They get scared out of their minds and they go to run away, and somehow in all that chaos they end up pulling the sheet off the ghost or unmasking the phantom or whatever it is, right? And so as I have sort of incorporated that into my mental trigger of the Scooby-Doo method. So when I go ruh-roh, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, this thing is just fake. It's just fake. The thing that I'm afraid of is not real. So, and I have that incorporated into that trigger. So when I do it, I'm not only am I ready, but I even know that there's nothing to be afraid of. So it really has a little extra kick because of that. So those are my 3 fear hacks. If you can find any of those with a Google search, I'd love to hear about it, but I can't really find those 3, especially not in one place. So my only hope is that I can help you just kind of move through some things that you might be facing in your life. Everything that prevents us from moving forward, my belief, everything that prevents us from moving forward is rooted in fear somehow. So let's smash through some fears this week. It's Psychology and Emotions Monday, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again. Have yourselves a great day and a great week.